Good morning, everyone. I think we're going to get started at the closing plenary. I thought I'd like to firstly speak to those online. We hope your experience has been good. You've had a good conference. I'm sorry you couldn't be here, but hopefully you were able to enjoy the event through the platform. I do know that some people left the venue to go and have a bit of space in their hotel room and they watched it on their phone. So, great that you can use the technology if that's what's needed. And I hope that the experience has been fine. Just to remind you all that on the platform and Hopin, the sessions are, how far are they?
All of day 1 and day 2 are published.
So they're all on.
Just to add that you need to be on a browser to view the recordings. The recording functionality doesn't work in the app.
Yeah, so you need to go on the browser if you want to watch a session back. They are available for days 1 and 2, and we'll publish the others in due course. Yes, Jim? No.
The platform doesn't have the ability to upload presentations, but I will be requesting them available on the website. But
it'll take a bit of time, but we publish them on the website. So if you are a speaker, we will chase you, but if you want to be proactive, please send them and we'll get that done. So I think this is the beginning of the closing plenary, and obviously there's a lot to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to those online. Thank you to those that are here in attendance. I think we've had a great week here in Rome. I hope you've enjoyed it and it's been of value to you. I thought I'd do this with Dan because most of you know who Dan is. I'm sure he's had a good step count this week, like all of us, but how did we do? Well, I think we're going to send out a survey and we'd really like your honest opinions about how we did and how we can improve. So obviously these summits are iterative for us. We like to take things that we learned at the last one and the ones before forward so we can improve them and do that. So please do send us that. We'll be sending out a survey early next week. I'd like to thank our sponsors for helping to make it possible. These organizations have been in and amongst all the discussions and the work, and we do appreciate the support there. There are sponsorship opportunities for our next summit and the ones after, so if you're interested, do come and speak to us and we'll again make those available for you. So thank you all to our sponsors and of course our media partners as well. I just remind everyone some of the news that we shared as well. Way back on Monday, some new members joined, Plenary, ePlan, Hungarian Public Roads, and TMC, as well as we announced that SBB are our second principal member alongside ASHTO. So really great that we have that support. Thank you very much. And if you are interested in membership, please do come and see me or one of the BSI members of staff, and we can talk to you about that. We mentioned that there's a chapter on formation in India. I think Jugal, where you are? Yeah, Jugal, maybe just come up a second just to talk a bit about that. But we'd like to encourage people to help us in that market because it's a really big opportunity and we want chapters and representatives of this community to help develop that. So Jugal, just a couple of words on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. And so chapter in India has been in making for a while, and I'm very happy that we are finally at a stage where it's been formed. And this is an opportunity for the community to make a difference in the life of 1.4 billion people, which is going to spend around 1.4 trillion US dollars in the next 15 years. So yeah, so this is a shout out to all of you to join and be the founding members of the community. And in Slovenia, we would formalize a lot of things, but appreciate support from all of you in whatever way and form that you can offer to this new chapter, which has tremendous potential, which on an average, I think produces 200,000 civil engineers annually. So I'm sure many of you have offices there and need people as well. So this is to fill in your office as well. So it's a great opportunity and looking forward to your help and support in strengthening our presence there. Thank you.
Turn the camera on myself. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. And I think Clive mentioned earlier in the week that we also expect some further news around South America as well. So these are major milestones for us as a community. We talked about 2 MOUs with Geospatial World to really advance and accelerate some of the BIM and GIS topics, as well as ICIS as well. So yeah, thank you to those partnerships as well. This is exciting times around that. And we have a little update as well from JAG, from WSP, around some of the coordination of a BIM and GIS topic as well we'll hear about shortly. I'd like to thank, first and foremost, Anna and Lorenzo. Some had some dreams, Anna. Thank you for pushing forward with what you wanted to get out of this event and for welcoming everybody. You're a big inspiration, I think, to many people, so thank you very much. And yeah, I think round of applause to Anna. And Lorenzo for insisting on really good coffee and food. Thank you very much for your openness and willingness to work together very collaboratively. So thank you. Team, Julia and Jody, thank you so much. I think these. I don't know if you remember on the day one, I didn't have a picture of them, and that was very embarrassing, but I managed to force quick pictures out of those two to thank them. They've been amazing. Of course, continued A-team, the room moderators, Sheila, Jeffrey, Susan, John, Laura, Evandro, and Ra. Thank you all very much. None of what they do here is in their contract. Is that right, Richard? Oh, okay. Well, put it this way. A lot of the stuff we ask for them is not what they signed up for in terms of managing technologies and videos and all the rest of it. So they do it with a smile. So I appreciate it very much. Katerina and Henry, thank you for your capturing of the moments and the videos. So that was really great. Of course, Dan, thank you so much for everything you've done. Tell us what's new, Dan. What have we been doing?
Yeah, so we did have a meeting in London earlier in the year, and we've taken feedback from your survey results the last couple of summits as well. We're trying to incorporate those here. So back to Aidan's first point, we will put out a short survey after this one. Please let us know what you've thought of it, how it's gone, did it work, or what didn't work, and we'll continue to take that forward into the next one. We were approached by Xenia from Ingesis a few months ago that she wanted to put on a game, and we're very excited about it and are really pleased with how it's gone. We were aiming to have 4 teams compete, and we had 4 rooms in which they could have done so. Quickly, we had 5 teams, then 6 teams. So already we ran out of space, which is why it got moved into that upper foyer area. But it's great that so many wanted to be involved. We think it worked really, really well, and we'll look to see what we can do to continue that through as well. We hope you all enjoyed it. We had the BS talks on the first day, the quick, short, sharp speeches from buildingSMART team, and we had the combined room sessions. That's what came out of that meeting in London in January. The meeting was with all of the steering committee of the rooms, and we wanted to enable more collaboration and have those shared sessions, which were on the morning yesterday and the morning on Tuesday. So we are also interested to hear what you thought of those. I don't know if you would have seen in the email I sent out last week, but we did have a partnership with a local organization that came every day and collected all of the leftover food from the event and distributed it around shelters in the city and to the homeless. So we're trying to do our part there. We also tried not to print anything this time, so apart from printing QR codes to tell you what to do and things. I don't know that that's too avoidable, but beyond that, we were trying to put everything online on the app, and we hope that's worked. And again, the best coffee, the best catering. So I've certainly enjoyed the food and drink this week, and I hope everyone else has too. And yeah, look forward to hearing what you thought about it.
Yeah, thank you, Dan, and you know, immense job in coordinating everything, and yeah, the work starts again on Monday for the next one, so let's look forward to that. Yeah, just a little reflection on some of the week we've had. You know, we had an opening plenary session in the auditorium, lots of interesting topics. We focused on the topic of delivering a diverse and sustainable future with openBIM, and I hope that there's an essence of that that's come out of this event, because I think that's important to connect what we wanted to achieve with the theme of the event and some of the sessions that we had. We had this fantastic awards night. Patrick, what a night it is. I mean, to celebrate this work and the contributions, and hope the venue was nice as well, and sorry for those that maybe weren't able to get there. Of course, we had our room session. Sorry to everyone that, you know, couldn't get in because they were busy, but I think that's a good sign for us, a new challenge to make more space available where we see that there's a real topic such as BSDD that is really driving interest within our community, and lots of great discussions within that as well. So hope you found those valuable. Sorry for the sauna. I think Sheila mentioned it, that it was the sauna, the Pininfarina room, but always went in there and that was always really busy and really good discussions happening there as well. So nice to see that as well. And yeah, the other thing to mention, we've had additional meetings as well, roundtables, masterclasses, and a collection of chapters discussing how we can address some of the major initiatives happening in various regions. And we really encourage that type of activity globally as well. So this is an opportunity for chapters to work together and cross-collaborate. And again, the more chapters we bring in from different regions, the better this becomes. Some interesting, you know, new additions as well, trying to better explain who we are and what we do. So hope if you didn't catch some of these sessions, don't forget they're available online. But John and Richard were great sports in describing how to deliver things like an activity proposal and doing it through new methodologies. So yeah, really trying to better describe what we do. One of the other feedback we had was, well, if I'm new, how do I know where to get started? I don't really know about IFC. I need to learn more about the basics. So we're going to address that. And then of course we had interactive railway game ticket to openBIM. So fantastic, and it should hopefully be a feature of our events moving forward. Of course, you know, thank you all to everyone that attended the event. We hope it's valuable, and we look forward to the next event in 6 months' time. And with that, Osmond, I thought we'd hand a little relay on to you, because the Norwegian chapter is going to be hosting in 6 short months. So what can we expect in Lillestrøm?
I don't know, actually. But I'm very honored that we had the opportunity to have the summit in Lillestrøm this autumn in September. So I expect you all to come. What to expect? We are going to sit down just after Easter to look into the program. We have some ideas. I'm sure you have some ideas as well. So we are going to collaborate and find the best possible program to make the best summit ever. So I wish you all welcome to Lillestrøm. And yeah, I will say just, I am impressed of what I've seen here. So if we are able to make it even better, I will be extremely proud. Thanks and welcome to Norway.
Okay, so that's a thank you from me. I'm going to hand over now to Céline Bent, our compliance director, and yeah, over to you, Céline.
Hello, everyone. Hello. The word sustainability comes from the Latin sustinere. Sus means up, and tinere to hold. So literally to uphold, to support in the broadest sense. And we believe we strongly believe that buildingSMART International should, cannot hear me well? Yeah, okay. Should support the sustainability of the built environment by making the relevant and accurate sustainability data available to all the stakeholders. And on a Tuesday morning, we had a session dedicated to this topic with contributions from the initiators of this initiative, Nick Nisbet and Frank Hovorka. We had Pekka Virkamaki from the Finnish Ministry of Environment describing what's being done in the front-runner market in Finland on this topic. And then we had contributions on what is already possible with our standards and solutions from the electrical room, Bertrand Lac, from the product room, Hans-Weli Schmidt, and from our BSDD star, Arthur Tomczak, on how BSDD can support reusability of building elements. And this session resulted in the launch of a new strategic working group on sustainability data. And I'd like to ask my assistants, Nick and Frank, to come forward and explain what we aim to do in this new strategic working group.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Are you, oh yeah, full room, it's impressive, huh?
Sorry? Oh, hi. Sorry. If I'm still Nick.
Because we are together. Well, the idea behind is something which is quite a little bit different of what I used to do with rooms and programs. Because the idea we try to develop is that you already all work on sustainability because you work on data. You work on data from products to construction, whatever the typology of construction is. And what we need for sustainability is to bring together the standardization of the work you've done in your rooms to access the data, cross with the normalization and standards, or to calculate a life cycle assessment. So we have two standards that needs to cross. And these two standards needs to cross in every room. So the idea we have with Nick is that we don't want to work behind. You will work because you have already done the job. And the idea is to really have a passageway or a kind of crossing activities. No, I will not. I will not say the word. No, we already said the word yesterday, 2 days ago, but I will not say it again. I know it's forbidden. No, the idea really is behind to connect the information of different rooms and to do this group in working together. So what we would like to do with Nick is to express what we need in terms of what is a life cycle assessment, or do we need to express it according to the international norms about how to calculate it, what are the boundaries, and how we can work with you in order to get you the way you do it in your data templates from products, or do you aggregate the data templates from products into a construction system, or do you hand it over to your asset owners, and so on. So all this work you do, and you do it much more better than we can imagine again. So this is really a capitalization work to amplify what you are doing and to show it in order to explain to what also, I took this example from European Commission, because this is the flow, in fact, the data flow of information. It's coming from the performance and information of products. This is something you know and you manage. Then we have to put it into an information of the construction. Then we have to assess the quality and the environmental information about the construction, whatever it is. And then at the end, it has to be assessed by a financial investor, a decision maker that will put the money on the project. And all this process of data needs to come from an aggregation of information which is managed by the openBIM. So we really do believe with Nick that it's an opportunity for all of you to show off the quality of the work you do in order to propose a calculation methodology, a processing of data that comes from the openBIM standardization, crossing the lifecycle assessment standards that already exist, and how do we process the data in order to bring something that can be translated into a risk assessment or a return on investment of construction. So this is really something that has already started also, and is something that will pop up with the product industry. This is coming from the World Council for Sustainable Development. And they have started to identify key elements for assessment of data. And you can find easily that all the assessment they ask for is something we can deliver by processing the data at the level of BSI. So we really do think that we can go from building characteristic, product characteristic, to translate it at the end of a journey into something that can be integrated into the market value, into the financial decision. Because otherwise, the sustainability stays in a dark room. So this is what we want to create, this passageway.
So we made some resolutions on your behalf. One is that there is more to do in sustainability within buildingSMART. We need to get the message out. We need to work rapidly. And so we've set ourselves some targets. And we will come back again at summit after summit. We will come back next year and ask for a mandate to carry on. So the work starts today. Thank you.
Yeah, now I'd like to welcome up Jag, who's going to just talk a little bit about some of the work he's been doing in support of BSI. So thank you.
Thank you, Aidan, and I can't agree more that we had a wonderful event. Every year I come here, it's the experience just gets richer. So I'm going to talk about something that we've been working on the last couple of months, something I think buildingSMART has been working on for a long time, but there is renewed focus on an initiative that we hope to unveil a roadmap in Norway. So this is kind of a sneak peek of where we are. What we call this initiative is improving interoperability between BIM GIS applications. Essentially the idea, using open standards, of course. The idea is not new. There's a lot of momentum behind this. But the context is new. Things always improve, always change. Our goal is to develop a sustainable roadmap. It's been in people's minds for a long time, but I think the roadmap we intend to put out will have to showcase, what is possible when you bring standards together, when you bring continuity and context and scale in developing the information modeling across those two domains, very large domains that are meeting together, using open standards to achieve greater information management continuity across the applications. Essentially, it's interoperability data, it's open information, concept of big BIM. So this has received some momentum. Some of our objectives here are really to get to the quick wins. I think owners certainly are looking forward to this, because now we are in a technology environment, a lot of applications, and a lot of data silos. And there's a lot of need to actually bring this information models together. So our goals for the roadmap will be to identify and solve those low-hanging fruit and essential use cases, hopefully by domain. There is significant interest across all domains to actually bring BIM and GIS together. Demonstrate clearly through proof of concept testing and really in a quick win fashion the benefits of open standards to achieve these goals. basically garner attention of the industry that there is effort both from the buildingSMART side and OGC side to work together to achieve and accomplish some of this, and also from the technology side, and create a harmonized and consistent approach across industry when you bring these two great information models together, both in terms of the problems they solve and also in terms of the context and continuity of information modeling they provide. Develop a longer-term roadmap. The term is not fixed yet. 1 to 3 years is the scale we are looking at to solve some of the core challenges and leverage existing opportunities and momentum that's in the industry today. And we would like to build on that and issue a joint call for participation to secure broader industry support to join this initiative within both buildingSMART and OGC. We've been meeting as a coordinating committee, a steering committee. I don't know what to call it yet, but I've been given the, I guess, the honor of leading or coordinating this committee. Pretty well-known entities within buildingSMART and OGC come together on this, and a lot of great ideas have been put forth in the last 2 months. And we've had a few meetings and to get these, the roadmap off and running. A couple of things I want to mention. It's not about data integration. It's not about data conversion. It's really about data assembly and connection. So I think the idea within the committee is that, there is multiple replications of the work, and information needs to exist, but we need to be able to assemble it, when needed, and liberate it and make it interoperable across the systems. So far we've had 5 working session meetings, all virtual. Looking at some of the challenges to be solved in session 1 and opportunities to be scaled. In session 2, we did a thematic organization of all the challenges and opportunities, building on things that have been done for the last 15 years. Then came up with certain roadmap action suggestions to address those challenges and scale the opportunities, identifying some low-hanging fruit, domain-specific use cases. We are not done with any of these yet, but we're just ideating, so we welcome participation from those of you who are interested in joining. And then ultimately, the product we want to create is a 3-year roadmap with high-level activities defined. And I'll just put out there some of the things that we are looking at in terms of, we categorize the opportunities and challenges into 3 buckets. There is clearly a need on the client organization side in terms of what this connection means. How do you operationalize it in the client environments? Because although there is a desire, it's not easy to connect these 2 worlds together. On the owner side, there's education, use cases, stories that need to come up. There is a second challenge or opportunity areas, data modeling and interoperability, IFC 5 and OGC standards. And the third one is tools and technology development. So we've kind of went through the list of what to scale within the short time frame we have. But the idea and the proposal is really to get to quick wins, not to get boiled down or bogged down in semantic discussions and things of that nature, but to show use cases and use case-oriented action. And I'm sure many of you will like that, that every domain has specific use cases and specific things that we need to solve. We're not trying to boil the ocean down, but basically base it on use cases. So we'll continue to vet and detail the roadmap. We'll seek comment from the broader group when the roadmap is ready to distribute. We'll send it out for comment. Hopefully all of you can participate in that. And then we'll finalize the roadmap by late summer and unveil it, hopefully in Norway. And then hopefully get to action, actually, through a call for participation. So that's the update from this. It's exciting work. It's not new work, but it is definitely new in terms of where we are as an industry, both standards aligning. We have geospatial context in buildingSMART in IFC now. We have modularization of IFC coming up, different way of modeling information, IFC 5. OGC has been working on this for a number of years as well. We have technology companies working together to bring this together. And we have client desire and owner desire to have that continuity and information modeling. So things have changed. The desire is the same. So hopefully we can get to better results and quicker. So that's the goal here. So thank you for your attention.
Morning, everybody. hope you all agree, this is the best summit yet, by a long way. I think it's very telling that on the last day the room is so full, because this isn't usually the case. There's usually, you know, quite a few empty seats and quite a few green faces, but it's fantastic that you know, we've held everybody's attention all week. We said in Montreal that buildingSMART International has been through this progress of, you know, establishing the business, establishing the governance, extending the openBIM processes with the various developments that have been going on. In particular, the creation of IFC 4.3 for infrastructure. And we said that we're very clearly moving into a deployment phase now. And the fact that, you know, this summit, we've got all the programs represented, not just the solutions and standards program. It's very, very heavy on the user program because of the deployment phase. You know, people are wanting to use openBIM processes in their real capital projects and their real operational teams. You know, the user program is very well represented, and of course the compliance program is very well represented, both the software and professional certification. So finally, you know, I'm delighted that our summits are now fully functioning and incorporating everybody's requirements. I'm going to start with an announcement. The infrastructure team in the room, steering committee, has had an election. And we have counted the votes, and we have 4 new members. We have Mark Golden from Esri, we have Michael Kennelly from Ashto, and we have Jim Plume, who's been re-elected, and we have Hiro Masashima from the Oyo Corporation, and we have Alexa Mitchell from HDR. So welcome to the team, all those people. Thank you. And Tristan McDonnell of AREP, who has been on the Infrastructure Room Steering Committee for many years, and Nobuyushi Yabuki, who's also been on the Infrastructure Room Steering Committee for many years, decided this time that they wanted to stand down and not stand for re-election. So we owe them a huge gratitude of thanks for the amount of work they've done over the last years in getting that Infrastructure Room to the strength it is today. So thank you both, Tristan and Nobuyushi. And here are all your room steering committees. These people are the people that really make the program work. They all give their time pro bono. They all represent their particular domains. You know, they understand the industry, and these are the people that establish the room plan, the room charter, the room mission, the roadmap, and they oversee the projects that are done. So can I ask, if you're on a room steering committee and you're in this room today, please stand up. Thank you all very, very much for the hard work you do. And that hard work isn't just at these summits, by the way, which is very hard work, but it's throughout the year with the regular meetings that we hold and the various conferences where we get together. It's about leadership and coherence. We had a room leaders conference in London earlier this year. We had 80 people in total, people that you've just seen on the screen. It's about making sure that we all understand that we're able to work together, you know, with some coherence and in the right context. The thing about rooms are that they're not swim lanes. You know, it's important the rooms get together because room boundaries are porous. And the thing that came out from the London summit is that, you know, all the room leaders put together roadmaps. You know, we have a plan for what we want to achieve over the next 3 or 4 years. And roadmaps generally look like this: a target on the right-hand side, and then there are you know, specific aspects that we want to tackle. And what we're finding is that with activities we are currently defining, we get so far and then we hit this block because of this knowledge of openBIM, this openBIM knowledge. So there is a high focus now within the organisation on education, because with better education, with industrialists being able to understand openBIM better and explain it back into their companies and to their peers and to their bosses, we will then get better quality input and therefore we'll get better quality output. So more industry engagement is what drives the development of openBIM, and therefore it drives the deployment and therefore gives us all the outcomes which we want, which is a better connected world for better living spaces for the future. So that was a huge emphasis. The other thing that we talked about was, what we want to tackle next, and here's the outputs of the conference, some of the outputs of the conference anyway. Return on investment, being able to demonstrate the value was a high thing on the agenda. Being able to access the data at the right level, at the right time, to the appropriate people was high on the agenda. Better education of the openBIM processes. Alignment of initiatives across our rooms. And more consistent output on the templates. The buildingSMART opportunities are really shown on this slide here. I know I've shared this before, but what you see there is something that says incubation, and that's the area for creative thinking, for thought leadership. And we've just heard of 2 strategic groups. Céline, Nick, and Frank have just told us about the sustainability group that's just started up. Jags just told us about the BSI, OGC, BIM, GIS group that started up. That is where people can do this strategic thinking, and it gets input from all the domains, all the rooms, without having to go through the process, which is a democratic process of checking and assessment and validation. It allows the free thinking. Now, how we describe that doesn't matter. Whichever way we try and explain it, we can explain it as a corridor, we can explain it as a Venn diagram, we can explain it, as a strategic group. It doesn't matter. The point is that as long as the message gets across, that everybody's welcome, and we want to make the best use of everybody's brains in developing things. And as for the BSI process, it's the process that allows collaboration. It's the factory governance for creating things. It's a serious business, as you can tell. Again, whatever way works, to be able to explain to people that there is a way of working that allows hundreds of people around the world who are generally competitors perhaps in their everyday life, to be able to collaborate and produce things, then that's how we'll do it. The message is very clearly collaborate on the rules and compete in the game, and that's what everybody seems to understand and how we get around it. And thanks to my colleague John for his contribution and tolerance for that little exercise. We have some big projects on the go. The Asset Operations Handover Framework. This is about establishing data handover from capital to operations. We've had news this week that the funding that from the Montreal Summit, the Canada chapter received quite a lot of funding from the Canadian government, and they're going to be able to put some money into this project. So we finally get this project really underway, which is great news. The rail project applying IFC 4.3 is part of deployment. You've seen the brilliant game this week that's part of that. Brings it to life, makes it real. There's a project going on in the background to develop and deliver on particular use cases. So that's going very well. And the Sustainability Energy Management Room charter is published. We have an activity proposal underway. We had a meeting in Zug in Switzerland earlier this year. The room to get together and work out their plans. And one of the decisions was it's now called the electrical room. And it's about the electrical networks in buildings. So that's a good bit of progress as well. All of our projects need funding. This is the current status. We do need more. This is why we're reaching out to our members and sponsors. And this is just a bit of a reminder that in order to pay for projects, we require sponsorship. Membership pays for the operations. It pays for some of the service development, but sponsorship pays for the project development resource. And just to give an indication of how many people are contributing to developing new stuff, here's a list here with, you can see organizations like SBB, Swiss Railways, Trafikverket, CRBIM, RFI from the rail people from Italy, ÖBB, all of these people at the top there contributing lots of money. And very small companies were also contributing. And, you know, whatever their contribution is, big or small, it's all very welcome and put to good use and is used efficiently through the BSI process to deliver projects. And we have good management office support now. Here's our team. You've met many of them this week. In fact, you've met all of them this week. These are the people that don't just moderate at sessions at summits. These are the people that are the international program coordinators that support the rooms throughout the year and help them work efficiently. We talk about an international friendship club. Claire Whitaker on the right-hand side, our finance manager, she had to go home last night. It was her daughter's 18th birthday. And when she got to her daughter's 18th birthday, they were talking about where she'd been. And her daughter said, oh, my best friend's dad's been in the conference in Rome this week as well. It turns out her best friend's dad is Marek Sochocki, who we know very well and who knows Claire quite well. But we didn't know, you know, that the two families knew each other. It just happens like that. And I was very touched, actually, this week to hear that Masaki Muto's son, who is now working as a data engineer, is also here, and who's here to see his dad get his gold pin. And Lars Fredlund's son is also here and working for CoBuilder. So it does go through the generations. I was very touched, actually, very, very touched. So finally, the thank yous. Aidan, best summit so far, brilliant. Ra, thank you for your support. Anna, Lorenzo, and all the Italian chapter. Arthur, your first one, I think, and you've been a great support, and all the events team, but actually, Dan, as ever, really great organisation. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you all for coming.
I think we're going to hear now from Winfried in the railway room. So, yeah, over to you.
Buongiorno a tutti. The camera's here, so I have to stay here. Okay. Well, guys, I don't want to keep you very long on the tenterhooks, so because the most important part is the third one from Xenia. So, as you have heard several times in the statements so far. So I will try to make a short conclusion, and Adrian is manifesto is in everybody's mind, and also the railway room has worked on a manifesto, and I think until the summit in Norway, we will also have a lot of signatures under this manifesto, but we want to show up. So short overview. We have had a very cool session with our stakeholders and with UIC in the railway room, which was directed to future, because we said, okay, we have now IFC for it free, and what's going on in the companies, and it was very exciting to see. Not only in our direct stakeholders, but also at USC in the European level, IFC has influence, even if it is not IFC for it free, of course. Even if it's not released as an ISO at the moment, but it has influence, and it was mentioned everywhere as a good partner, as a good basis for going further in the industry. So good news for that point. The topics there was, okay, I've talked about now this bringing IFC to real life. That is at the moment the point. Yeah? Not only, we always say, stop talking, start acting. So that's what we need. We need IFC for the free in action. Is already influencing. I've told it to you. And the 2 points which we lost on our way thinking about is linking data, and of course ontologies. And in the presentations of the stakeholders, there these two words, these two terms are also very potential on their roadmap. Let's say so. So then we have to collaborate, not only for drinking but also for working. with the airport and infrastructure room, and of course BSI management office with all of you guys. Thank you very much for that. And I think there is also a lot to do until the next summit in kind of helping out with processes, helping out with methods, to getting further with the standardization stuff. Okay, what are the next steps? A live recording from our hotel terrace. Okay. Yeah, we get the IFC applying IFC for a rail project done, and we are finalizing the roadmap. Hopefully next week or the week after, let's say so. And what I've heard when you go with open eyes through the summit and listen to all the people, BSDD is really in everybody's mind. So I think we should start also a kind of project about buildingSMART data dictionary for rail. So that's the summary, let's say so. And yeah, now let me hand over to Adrian. And I hope he's also as short as me to take pressure off the teams, of the 6 teams, because Xenia will then go further awarding them. And I hope nobody knows who is the winners. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Winfried. I just have to remark that it was before the party. There will be no party pictures of the railway party yesterday. At least I hope so, Winfried. Okay, good. Oh, okay. So just a second. At least you see we had a lot of fun yesterday. So no worries, it's only 50 slides in 2 minutes, so no worries. I do for 8. Ah.
After the next summit, I promised to make a short advertising for Tiina and the French chapter in collaboration with the French chapter, the InfraBIM Open. The InfraBIM Open in Lyon, this time in January 2024. And so you will find everything online. So if you want to present there or if you want to join there, that's it. Thank you.
So, as promised, what we did in the last few weeks and months, we said Rome would be an excellent possibility to publish a manifesto. As remember, I think 40 years ago, the Brundtland Commission defined the first time environmental sustainability. So we thought it's necessary to have a bold statement of all railway stakeholders and to confess that sustainability is necessary for us as the most environmentally friendly means of transport. So I don't want to read all of the pages of the 50, so I've just clicked through. But it's important that it's not only railways, but it's also public sector clients. And we are happy that all agreed very, very fast on doing this manifesto. So you can read it all through. It's going later on. But I think all of us consider it a logical consequence to tender, demand, and use public and open standards. That's a bold confession we did. And our vision is to create the modern, efficient, and sustainable, not only rail, but infrastructure, so that we can meet the needs of the customers. They are in our heart of the daily operation. So I don't read all of it, but it's just to give you the statements. We will use BIM and open standards, data standards, to increase efficiency, to increase the sustainability, to ensure their sustainability, and raise customer satisfaction, raise transparency, and to be more cost efficient. So, but we cannot do it by our own. Everybody of us has to work on this approach. So, there's a lot of actions we need to do, and in Norway, in Lillestrøm, we will show a kind of a roadmap, kind of a task we need to consider to reach this goal. So I'm looking forward to Lillestrøm as well. We need a close cooperation, IT providers and other standards. So, last slide. There's a call. As I said, we are not alone, and we need all of you in this room to make it happen. So, latest in Lillestrøm, we will sign it officially. So, before the party, hopefully. And before I hand over to Xenia, I just wanted to thank you for the party yesterday, or today, I don't know, I can't remember. And they raised the bar for the parties in Norway, so no pressure. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Well, what I can tell you this time is that my name doesn't count much. What counts this time are the names of these people who contributed, who made it possible, who made it real. You see also the names of all the organizations. You can appreciate the massive effort that goes behind what one person can do by himself, right? And this is we could, of course, these kind of things cannot happen by themselves. You need to have an organization. You need to have, in this case, all the help. Thank you from buildingSMART, the railway room, the rail project, and of course, everybody that contributed. Just a few slides about the content of the game itself. We challenged 6 teams, 30 players in total, with the specification, creation, and validation of an IFC 4.3 model. We had judges, we had coaches, we had software vendors who provided software both for BIM authoring, validation, IDS, creator and checking, and visualization. The input that every team received was data sets that were created within the railway projects, together with some requirements, validation criteria, and instructions and rules. Like in any game, rules are important. And eventually we got in exchange back the exchange information requirements, the IFC 4.3 model validation report presentation that was then presented yesterday morning. With this video, you got a feeling of the spirit of the game, okay, of course. Now, time to thank for real the players. First, we would like to thank and to declare the winners afterwards, but we believe that every team has been a winner. Team number 1, for considering many alternatives and designing a wool alignment by hand, point by point for each line. Team number 2, White Tigers, for diving into the needs and the requirements of the game itself. Team number 3, FT and OB, because they enjoyed the process and they collaborated within each other. Team number 4, the Sleepers, because they cared about the details and they spent time in interpreting the results of the validation. Team number 5, All Rails Lead to Rome, because they focus on the different steps of the process and they applied the openBIM workflows. Team number 6, Nevada, because they experimented the use and they had the idea of using the BSDD, which was not a requirement for the game. For this game. Now, I would like really to thank and award all the software vendors. They were not really considered as players, but we would like to thank all of them. If you can please come over, somebody from akka, Autodesk, Catenda, Raycomplete, RDF, Serrasoft, Sojalink, The Hard Code, and Trimble. Please come on over. Come, that's your... Vieni, Giulia, passa. Thank you. Without you, please, this game would have been, wouldn't be possible. Vai, Giulia, passa. Prego. Well, a big thank you again from this community. We know you took some risks. And yeah, eventually to get things done, software vendors play a key role. So thank you again. Now. Just now. And the winner is, that's team number 2, the White Tigers. Please come on stage. Marco Anderson, David Gerner, Vincent Keller, Luca Currelli, and Marina Calisti. Bravo. Dai, Giulia, dai. Thanks for showing a great collaboration among the players. So first, thanks for capturing the lessons learned so that you can bring them back in your daily job and your daily life. And of course, for the execution and the results you achieved within the game. Thanks. I'm done. No, you want a speech? Go.
Not that someone asked for a speech. So thank you very much for this game. I think it's very important to touch the concrete implementation of IFC and how we can use it, and to not be in the concept. So it was very powerful. My team was great. I helped them to win. So they did the job. So it's great. And lessons learned about this game is It's better if you read the requirements before you work. So it's essential for everybody.
Just another point is not only read the requirements, but get to know each other first. So we took enough time at the beginning to introduce ourselves to each other. So we know all each other by name, which is already a big point for collaboration. And yeah, thanks for the team, and also to Luca, who isn't here today, who was part of our team. I think we all did a great job.
I would like just to add a big thank you to our coaches and to the software vendors who have let us give the opportunity to really put our hands on the IFC 4.3 and the validation part. It was extremely interesting, and also thank you for NGCs to organizing this amazing game and activity. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would like to thank my team, and especially Luca, who isn't here, because he was doing all the work with the with the software. So yeah, I would just like to say thank you to everyone.
I'll make sure Luca receives the award, of course. Thanks. Thanks. I see. I think. Thank you.
Stay here.
No.
We need really to make a standing ovation to Xenia. She's an extraordinary person, very clever, and she was managing part of the project of SRA since a long time. And what was done here is absolutely huge. And we need a standing ovation for Xenia.
Wow, that was amazing. So yeah, thank you to everyone that put that together. I don't think it was that long ago that we got a call saying we'd like to do this idea. What do you think? And of course, we didn't expect it to turn out like that, but wonderful when people work together. Next up, I think we have presentations from the airport room from, is that right? Arisca and Christoph. So please, up you come. We have 2 mics. Do you need just one?
Should we start?
Hello.
Hello.
You guys hear me? Welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing in the airport room. When we came together last night to prepare this PowerPoint, we ended up with a list of a lot of topics that we wanted to discuss. Christoph, very detailed technical ideas. And then we had Gerard, who unfortunately is not here right now, but he had a lot of great ideas too. So we had a huge list, and we were like, all right, 7 minutes, how are we going to do this? So what we did is we looked back at what we did this week. Lots of amazing sessions, a lot of good topics. And we're just going to kind of explain how we think it's going to help the airport room and potential projects for the future. So the most obvious one, which comes back, I think, the summit, is the Airport Entities Project. I think that's where the team spends most of its time on. And kind of give you a small recap, what we've done is 2 years ago, we started collecting lists of airport-specific entities or objects, map them to IFC 4 and later on to IFC 4.3. What we did with our proposal is create surveys to send out to the technical experts or the subject matter experts to get more input from more people all over the world. And we finished our first survey, the baggage handling, and I think we got around 60 responses from people all over the world. So that was pretty amazing. So we're going through all of the results right now, which is a lot, but we hope to finish that before the summer. The new surveys for 4 other disciplines are out. They are live, so feel free to look at them. They're on the buildingSMART websites if you go to the airport room, and they'll also be on LinkedIn, I'm sure.
And maybe to understand, this is a completely new procedure we invented here, how to develop data structure amends. We have to call it amends by now, not extensions anymore. Everyone needs to know that in mind, keep that in mind, because airports don't have so much data structure needs who has to get directly in the IFC scheme. So we have to talk about amends, and these amends has to get evaluated. And our procedure we invented here is maybe the best way actually to evaluate data structure amends with a worldwide pool of experts, but not to get them on one place as we usually need to have it, like in the area room, for example, and so on. So in our opinion, this is a really important step, and we are very happy that we already finished all the surveys. So now we're waiting for the response. And the next step, which is quite important, is to include also the aviation industries. So on the right, you see the industry standards, which are quite very important for aviation industries. And because our data structure amend is placed on BSDD, we have the possibility to combine these classification systems from the industry standards directly with our data structure amend. It's a very important step. And we are looking forward to implement this way of procedures also in other rooms who have more or less similar requirements as us.
So with that being said, getting in touch with other airports, organizations. We also had a pretty good session with, I think it's ENOC is what they're called. We had a meeting after one of the sessions in the infrastructure room, and we actually came to the conclusion that we need to start collaborating from a national with an international level. Was a short meeting, but I think it was very good. We're going to start collaborating to really get the Italian national authorities closer to the buildingSMART airport room. And so for now, all we have is let's deliver information from the airport room for kind of a base to start the collaboration and see how to move forward.
Maybe also thank you to Lorenzo who
Yes.
arranged that meeting. Otherwise, we had no possibilities. We didn't expect, to be honest, to have this kind of contact that soon, but we are very happy about it. So yes, everyone who was also in Montreal last October maybe remember two things. One thing was Winfried singing the railway song, the famous railway song. And the next thing, Ian said, whatever happens in Montreal keeps in Montreal or stays in Montreal. For that reason, I don't know anything else or can't remember anything else. But what we also presented was our business case too. Because one of the biggest issues actually for huge operators of airports is if they construct or design and construct a new terminal. These are very, very complex buildings, very high equipped with a lot of stuff. And actually the biggest issue is how to hand over all of these informations to the asset information management. We have so much fragmented information that actually this is an extreme high workload for the team. And it took a very long time. For that reason, our purpose was to make here a better solution. And we have had the idea about the integrated handover procedure based on IFC. Later on, when I more or less looked to the other sessions and tried to make a report about the summary of the whole summit, I identified there was exactly the same idea from Jeffrey. And he called it asset owner handover procedure or asset owner handover project. And then we identify, okay, this is exactly the same we want, and we need to join these projects. Otherwise, there is no chance to realize it. So for that reason, we contribute to the AOH project already. It was a very nice session yesterday in the morning. And we try to deliver the requirements from the airports at the first step in the form of use cases, so to describe the essential use cases for the handover procedures from airports, and later on to also deliver the IDS for the use cases. So this is our part, how we contribute to the AOH project, and we are looking forward to have a very fast solution who could get in work very soon.
And as Winfried mentioned, we also had a joint session between the airport room, railway room, and the infrastructure room. We had a lot of people show up, which was pretty amazing, very exciting, lots of great discussions, and as Evandro put it, good discussion, but we have to also put it into action. So what we want to do is raise awareness on the need of collaboration based on the BSDD, which was a lot of discussion, or that was mainly the topic of discussion in the session. So what we have to do is summarize the outcome of that session and share it with the other rooms. And we want to continue collaborating with the railway room. We really want to put up some action points of how we can move forward, come up with a small use case to show some of the challenges that we have today and how we can potentially turn that into a new project together with the other rooms. So looking forward, some future developments hopefully for the airport room, obviously dependent on funding and more in-kind contribution. But we want to enrich the buildingSMART Data Dictionary airport domain. For now, we have the 4 entities that Maya added a couple of years ago. And we hope by Oslo to have the baggage handling survey or the results of the baggage handling survey in there. We want to identify some more use cases for the airport entities project. And like Christoph mentioned, the asset owner handover topics to actually show to other airports, to other people working for airports, the need of these kind of projects. We obviously want to further develop information standardization, and the biggest one is positioning the airport room better within the aviation industry. Obviously also connecting to international aviation organizations, and last but not least, connect and collaborate with the other rooms within buildingSMART. We had a very good first session this week.
All right, there's nothing to add. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Brilliant. I suppose a challenge to the Norwegian chapter here. We are quite close to Avinor Airport. Maybe we encourage them to participate in some of the activities there and bring them along to the summit. So hopefully we can get more airports involved where we move around. Well, so sorry we'll jump to infrastructure in a second, but Adrian put out a call for participation earlier, and I think there's a bit of breaking news about something that we would like to talk about. Adrian.
Well, actually, I don't like the term breaking news, but I think it's breaking news. I just got a thank you. I just got a text from the Deutsche Bahn, German Railways, that they will fully support IFC in their projects as well. So I think that's worth a breaking news.
Yep, I think with that, we're over to Tiina.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. So the closing plenary from the infra room. So first of all, we do have the infra room steering committee. So I would like to thank all of my dear steering committee colleagues to put up the agenda for the summit and for the work that we have been continuously doing between the summits for many, many years. We do have the technical leader and the deputy chair for the infra room, and then we do have the infra room project steering committee. And in the project steering committee, there are also members from the stakeholders and from the project managers of those kind of live projects that we have still running in the infra room. But then this slide was already kind of stolen by Richard. So we do have the new steering committee members who will join the infra room steering committee in April. So in a few days, actually. And we would like to also thank the steering committee members that are stepping down from the steering committee. So Tristan McDonnell and Nobuyossi Kubik for the hard work that they have been contributing to the community for many, many years. So I'm very much waiting to the new members to join and then start to work with some of maybe the new topics that we have already recognized in this summit. But then the focus areas that what we have been kind of being in the hotspot in the summit, of course, the ISO process updates from the IFC 4.3, but also we did had a very, very good panel conversation during the summit between the owner organization and kind of the mandate they are going to put forward to request the IFC 4.3 as a handover delivery for the future, because the owner organization are very maybe the essential within this field. But then we have also organized a lot of so-called local chapter workshops between the summits. So we want really engage with these maybe local chapters in different countries in order to collect more input to the roadmap of what the chapters and through the chapters we can reach out the wider community, maybe because some of the organizations are members of the local chapters, but it could be that they don't attend to these BSI International Summit that often. So we feel that the local chapter is our way to influence to those national organizations too. But in those local workshops, we have been focusing to the roadmap work and of course the implementation of the IFC 4.3, because there is a lot of questions around the IFC 4.3 if you are not involved to this kind of society here. So it's not very well known outside BSI, to be honest. So I think it's our duty to spread the word about these possibilities. Of course, the roadmap, I have few slides then about the roadmap and maybe some new working items that we need to pay attention in the future. And of course, IDS and BSDD has been mentioned many times here today as an operation handover activity proposal, which Infraroom has been involved almost a year and a half now. And then we have the running project IFC Tunnel, and then of course the test instruction for the bridges. So we still have a lot to do in the project level. But the needs for the future. So these are kind of coming from the process side and from the technology side. And then there is this question for the people. So from the technology side, maybe we need to understand better how these different standards, tools, and services work together. So thanks to my colleague from the other rooms, I see that this is the topic in many rooms at the same time. So IDS together with BSDD, how we then maybe put content inside to the BSDD, and in the session together with the airport room and the railway room around the BSDD topic, it was kind of one good outcome was that just start to put stuff into the BSDD and then kind of test it in the real project, how you can make best out of the BSDD, and also with this good session with the IDS was that this is just the first step that what we have taken, and the journey is now going to start. So we really are looking for the good concrete test for into the real projects. And then it's the question about the life cycle. So also from the project information model to asset information model, the ISO 19650, the register for what there already is existing one. So there is a lot of data there, but it's not structured in the way maybe that it's accessible even. And then it's the question about the IFCS archiving format. So these are kind of the different aspects of the life cycle that we need to solve together. And for example, there was a good example from Finland about around the IFC being the mandate from the government level. And then it of course include these questions like the archiving. And then it's a good question that what we need to standardize in the international level. So this was also the conversation during the BSDD session, that do we really understand that what, for example, is the content we need to put into the BSDD, for example, in the national classification level, what could be the organizational requirements, and then even the project requirements. So there is many different levels, and not every time I think it's not so clear to understand these different levels of the standardization. And then of course, if those needs to be implemented, who is the responsible maybe party to do the implementation and in which level? And then the roadmap. We have had a lot of discussion around the roadmap topics. We do have recognized these streams, and of course these streams have a different weight during the years. But some of the outcomes for the local chapter workshop that what we have had, and then also the workshops in the Montreal Summit, and also together with some insights we have in the steering committee, we have highlighted a few of these important topics like IFC for infrastructure user guide and BSDD for infrastructure as well. I like to thank Jim Bloom and the US chapter, because between the summits we organized this local workshop together with the US chapter and get a really good input there about the needs coming from US, that what we need to take into the consideration when finalizing the roadmap work. And Mike Kennerly was from ASTO was very kind of good that he was here and maybe still is in the summit, so good input there together with Jim. So I'm very happy that we made this happen during these two summits. But then the more detailed view for some of the actions, that maybe a little bit of purpose and the content for these actions. And I could add many more here, because the sustainability, of course, the team that we heard that might have interest in many infra-room members as well. And to be honest, I think that I kind of belong to each of the rooms in buildingSMART International. So even though I'm from the infra-room, so it's not a competition between the rooms. This is kind of the collaboration cross rooms all the time. So I really want to emphasize that. Then the tunnel is up and running, and we do have a lot of stakeholders around the world, and the scope and the next phases have been defined, and also there is a good initiatives coming from the tunnel project, maybe for the next stage for the project. They are looking for funding for the earthworks next generation work. So a lot of activities around the topic, around the proposal coming from the tunnel project. And then this slide was stolen also by Winfried. So I would like to welcome you all to join to the InfraBIM Open in Lyon in 2024. So it's a good way to maybe engage the wider community and also get the good best practices coming up, good knowledge sharing coming from the project level. So we are seeking for good infra project to be presented there, how they have been using new technologies and how they have been solving some challenges related to the information into the project. So real concrete examples, and also of course the good case studies normally about the latest technology achievements. But how to eat an elephant? So there's many aspects. So first, standardize whatever you can, standardize it, then test it, implement it, and then repeat. So this is the circle that is going on and on all the time. And I hope that one part of one pieces are already here, and we then are in the phase to implement it. And then we find some other things that we need to start to standardize. So thank you all on behalf of InfraRoom.
Thank you very much, Tiina. One, I've not had a chance to catch up with you this week, but the other thing that's emerged is that we've got a consortium coming forward to support this maritime project that we've been talking about for so long. So we're going to have another project in the infrastructure room very soon to do offshore power and shore defences and things like that, which is fantastic. And I just want to emphasise that point that you made about it, being able to work across the rooms and share initiatives. I think part of the reason this summit has been such a good success, as well as the great venue and the great food and exciting games, is because each of the rooms has had fewer bespoke sessions within their rooms and more of these shared sessions. And everybody's telling me they've really enjoyed being able to get to the other rooms and see what's going on, rather than being stuck in their own little bubbles. Aidan, it's break time, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I just have a little story I wanted to tell, just 1 minute. suit that you see me wearing today is actually the suit that I got married in 5 years ago. And when I was packing to come to Rome, I only have so many suits, and I haven't worn this suit since I got married those 5 years ago. So I haven't worn it since. I thought I'll pack it, I'll just throw it in the suitcase, and I'll probably wear it. Didn't take it out again until I got here, and this morning I took it out, and it was tailor-made, and on the inside of the jacket, they stitched my name before my wedding, and also they stitched the company of the tailor that made it, which meant nothing to me at the time, and I haven't looked at it since until this morning. And come and see me in the break, and I'm going to put it on the camera. I'm going to go and show Patrick. My destiny was written for me 5 years ago, and I didn't even know it. Yeah, we will break for coffee just in the room behind us, and we'll reconvene in 30 minutes. Thank you.